Stay with me till the end of this video because what we are about to explore is not just a mystery, it's the mystery. For centuries, science has mapped the brain, dissected thoughts, recorded electrical impulses, yet the one thing it still cannot explain is you. Who is the one behind those thoughts? Who is watching you think? When you close your eyes, there's an awareness that doesn't vanish. It watches even the darkness that they call consciousness. And science still stands before it, humbled. Modern neuroscience says consciousness arises from the brain. Billions of neurons firing in extraordinary complexity give rise to the sense of I am. But here's the question. If that's true, why hasn't anyone been able to locate it? You can measure brain waves, map regions of memory and emotion, yet no instrument can find where awareness itself begins. It's like searching for the source of light with a torch. The very act of looking blinds you. Science has given us incredible technology, but consciousness is not technology. You can't construct it, you can only become aware of it. Sadhguru once said, the only reason science cannot grasp consciousness is because it's trying to study it as an object. But consciousness is not an object, it is the very subject. In the yogic sciences, consciousness is not seen as a byproduct of the brain. Rather, the brain is just a physical instrument through which consciousness functions. Your body, your mind, your thoughts are like ripples on the surface, but consciousness is the vast ocean beneath. A yogi doesn't seek to understand consciousness, he seeks to merge with it. Because only when you dissolve the boundaries of body and mind, you realize there was never an inside or outside. Everything was one seamless field of awareness. Even the most advanced physicists are beginning to admit something fundamental is missing. Quantum mechanics shows us that the act of observation changes the outcome, meaning matter behaves differently when someone is looking at it. But who is this observer? What is this presence that makes reality bend and behave differently just by noticing it? Some scientists reluctantly call it the observer effect. Yogis call it Shiva, the ultimate witness. So while science builds bigger machines to look deeper into particles, a yogi closes his eyes and looks within. Think of it this way. When you dream at night, your mind creates an entire universe. Mountains, rivers, people, emotions. In that dream, you are the creator, the experiencer, and the witness, all at once. When you wake up, that whole universe disappears. So, what if what we call reality is just another layer of a larger dream, and what we call consciousness is the waking state beyond this dream, the one who is aware, even as universe rise and fall? That's why yogis say existence is not happening to you, it's happening within you. Sadhguru once explained, your body is just a piece of this planet. Your mind is just a reflection of the society you live in. But your consciousness, that's not from here. that's from beyond. When a yogi goes into deep samadhi, brain activity almost ceases. Yet he is fully aware. Science would call that impossible. If the brain is silent, awareness should vanish. But in yogic experience, that's when awareness becomes most intense. That's when you are finally awake. Maybe the reason science can't find consciousness is because it's using the wrong instrument. You can't measure infinity with a ruler. You can't observe awareness through a microscope. You can only experience it by becoming still. The yogic path is not about acquiring new information. It's about peeling away everything that's false until only the real remains. When all thoughts fall silent, all identities dissolve, all labels disappear. What remains is consciousness, untouched, eternal. We think of consciousness as something mystical, but it's the most intimate thing about us. It's there when you breathe, when you love, when you suffer. It's what allows you to say, I am. Everything else, body, wealth, relationships, success, all are accessories to that one truth. You exist. And if you can just remain cautious, fully aware of each breath, each step, each thought, life transforms from struggle to stillness. Because then existence itself becomes meditation. Science will eventually build better tools, more precise instruments, but consciousness will still remain beyond reach because it's not something to be found, it's what is doing the finding. You can travel across galaxies, split the atom, digitize thought, yet you'll still have to face that quiet, invisible question inside. Who is the one experiencing all this? That question is not the end of knowledge. It's the beginning of wisdom. So the real frontier is not outer space, it's inner space. The one who conquers that becomes boundless. When you touch that dimension, death dissolves, time bends, creation bows. Because consciousness is not in you are in it. If this journey helped you see reality from a different light, share it with someone who's ready to question everything they've been told. And if you haven't yet, subscribe because we are just getting started. There's an entire universe waiting, not out there, but within.